of financial improprieties. The Christian Coalition takes a leap of faith on behalf of Republican George W. Bush. And the LAPD under more fire for alleged corruption and brutality.
This is the CBS Evening News with Thalia Assurdas.
Good evening. After a week and a half of battling, some very public, some behind closed doors, a new art exhibit opened in New York today, infuriating the mayor and others. Now, some say it is not so much a battle about art as it is about politics. Many think Mayor Rudy Giuliani was only staking out a position in his expected U.S. Senate race against Hillary Rodham Clinton. Jacqueline Adams was there when the exhibit opened.
Brooklyn Museum of Art curators got exactly what they wanted. A series of protests, but also long lines of museum goers greeted today's official opening of Sensation. It's an art exhibit so controversial, it's launched a legal and cultural war in New York City.
Why can't you say this is anti-Christian bigotry?
Inside the museum, today's first visitors got a chance to see what all the fuss was about. Artist Damien Hirst's Dead Animals in Formaldehyde, which so offended New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, he threatened to yank $7 million in city funding from the museum.
It does make you question what art is about and where you draw the lines.
I don't think it's anything very shocking or particularly offensive.
Visitors also saw artist Chris O'Feely's Holy Virgin Mary, which the mayor claimed was Catholic bashing.
Having a city-subsidized building have so-called works of art in which people are throwing elephant dung at a picture of the Virgin Mary is sick.
The museum and the mayor tried to negotiate, but when those efforts failed, a battle royal followed. The museum went to court to recover its city funds. The city went to court to try to evict the museum for violating its lease. The museum roared back, filing additional charges against the mayor personally. It's also seeking punitive damages.
That is an abuse of the First Amendment.
Museum Director Arnold Lehman says he's standing up against repression on behalf of all this country's museums, libraries, and theaters.
You're trampling the Constitution of the United States by saying that since I am offended, or I don't like, or I prefer to see something else in that exhibition, it either comes out or we're taking your money away.
Museum officials admit the images are provocative, but their galleries are supposed to be the places where unsafe ideas can be discussed. With today's opening, the museum clearly has won, but the coming court battles promise that New York's culture wars are far from over. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, Brooklyn, New York.
Another stumble today for the already wobbling presidential campaign of Al Gore. His campaign manager, Tony Coelho, is accused in a government report of possible legal and regulatory violations in his previous job. Mark Knoller has looked at the report and has more.
It's another cloud over Vice President Gore's troubled campaign for the White House. A report soon to be released by the State Department Inspector General is questioning some actions by his campaign chairman, Tony Coelho. The questions date back to Coelho's role as Commissioner General of the U.S. Pavilion at an exposition in Portugal last year. Government investigators say laws or regulations may have been violated in Coelho's arrangement of more than $6 million in federal funding for the pavilion by the U.S. Navy and another government agency. Congress intended for the money to come from the private sector. In addition, the Inspector General raises concerns about a $300,000 personal loan Coelho received from a Portuguese bank and the fact that his niece was hired as an assistant to Coelho's deputy. Though Coelho is not mentioned by name, investigators also allege improper use of airline tickets and other financial and personnel deficiencies. Coelho declined comment, but his attorney denies there was any wrongdoing on Coelho's part. The lawyer told CBS News the loan was paid off, there is no government liability, and that Coelho's niece got her job without the help of her uncle. There is no comment on the investigation from Coelho's boss, the vice president, but coming at the end of what was arguably the worst week of his campaign, with Bill Bradley raising more money and pulling ahead in New Hampshire, Gore didn't need ethics questions raised about his campaign chairman. Mark Knoller, CBS News, Washington.
Vice President Gore will be Bob Schieffer's guest for an exclusive interview tomorrow morning on Face the Nation. The Christian Coalition wound up a conference in Washington tonight after hearing pitches from most of the Republican presidential hopefuls. Cheryl Atkinson tells us that this time round, the coalition appears willing to bend on principles for the sake of victory.
Speaking to thousands of conservatives, Steve Forbes pointedly attacked frontrunner George W. Bush, his hardest push yet to position himself as the candidate for the religious right.
Frontrunner won't promise to appoint pro-life judges, but I have and will.
Not surprisingly, other Republican presidential candidates parading before the Christian coalition also staked out moral positions popular to this crowd.
I will not sacrifice one baby for political gain.
Bush, too, touched on abortion.
Every child, born and unborn, must be protected by law and welcome to life.
But that brief mention was too vague for some followers who were hoping for a stronger endorsement of the Christian agenda.
Well, Bush just has not put it on the table what he stands for. He has not addressed the abortion issue. He has not said anything in reference to the homosexual agenda. And he's been a little too silent for me.
Yet it's Bush who's all but won the endorsement of Christian Coalition founder Pat Robertson.
So far, George Bush has said things that would cause me to believe that he would be worthy of the support of the coalition were he the nominee of the Republican Party.
The fact is, the Christian coalition is saddled with debt and some say diminished political influence. Insiders say the faltering lobby group desperately needs to back a winner and may be willing to compromise on tough issues to do it. Do you carry with you any frustration that people seem to think they want their vote to count and they don't want to vote for somebody they think might not win?
The way you make your vote count is by voting on principle for a powerful message.
But among the Christian right, that powerful moral message may be drowned out by the deafening sound of applause for someone who can win. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, Washington.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, a Vietnam War-era postscript. One radical is let out of prison. Also, young people who salute a public military school. And all in the family, an 87-year-old mom still has a full house.
Presenting the Phantom Thunder difference, and what a difference it makes.
I was shocked at how much the Phantom took out of the carpet.
The powerful Phantom Thunder vacuum. The secret to this powerful cleaning is patented dual cyclonic action. 2 cyclones devour any dirt in its way.
I was just amazed at what it could pick up.
And no bags. Instead, a handy snap-out bin. And wait till you see the difference it makes when the handle becomes a cleaning wand.
Just like using a magic wand.
Dual cyclonic power finds dirt wherever it's lurking.
You have to do things fast these days, and I think that's why they made this Phantom.
And for cleaner air, a certified HEPA filter. The powerful Phantom Thunder vacuum.
This is the greatest thing in vacuum cleaners that I've ever seen. And nobody's paying me to say this either.
Call for a free video of the Phantom Thunder in action. See for yourself what a difference it makes. Call now.
You can't control Mother Nature. Experts report that weather patterns are changing fast, making it harder for anyone to say, a flood can't happen to me. In fact, in the last few years, floods have hit all 50 states. Thousands of victims learned too late that homeowners insurance doesn't cover floods, but national flood insurance does. Even weather experts can't outsmart Mother Nature. So call your insurance agent, or for free information, call this number now.
Gun makers and representatives of cities suing them have held secret talks to settle the multi-million-dollar lawsuit. The gun makers have agreed to talk about making guns safer and slowing the flow of guns to criminals. Not invited were the so-called Ring of Fire, gun manufacturers based around Los Angeles. Catherine Ann Power, the Vietnam War radical who spent 2 decades underground, was released from prison today. Power did not comment as she left prison. She served 6 years for her part in a 1970 robbery in which a policeman was killed. As a fugitive, she lived in Oregon using the name Alice Metzinger. The scandal rocking the Los Angeles Police Department continues to fester. This week, angry demonstrators confronted officers in an ugly protest, and a huge damage suit has been filed against the city. Sandra Hughes has been covering the story.
For the LAPD's anti-gang units, high-pressure standoffs like these take place all the time. But now these elite officers are coming under fire from the very people they are supposed to be protecting.
Jail time for killing cops!
Residents of the Rampart District, ground zero for the growing Los Angeles police scandal, are outraged by the allegations that officers in their neighborhood are accused of everything from cover-ups to murder. And this week, they were able to confront the police for the first time.
You know, you guys are the biggest gang of them all, man. You guys make me sick.
But the LAPD is facing more than verbal assaults. It's just been slapped with a $20 million claim filed by the family of this former gang member. Javier Ovando was released from prison after an ex-LAPD officer admitted to shooting him and then planting a weapon on him.
Only God knows why they did it. They put a gun in my head and shot me.
One of the officers who did the shooting, Rafael Perez, is at the center of the growing scandal. He has implicated several other officers, and so far 12 have been suspended or fired. Sofia Saldana's son was shot and killed by anti-gang officers in 1996. Perez now says his death was unjustified, too.
I wanted justice. I want those people to be in jail, to be punished for what they did to my son.
The police department has launched its own internal investigation, and the chief expects it will uncover more dirty cops.
Well, I think we clearly can investigate ourselves when you figure we're the ones that brought this to the attention of the community.
And many in that community still support the LAPD for greatly reducing gang violence. Others are skeptical that a department apparently unable to control its own officers can now uncover the magnitude of their wrongdoing. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
There's more to come on tonight's CBS Evening News. A free plane trip that has one airline in trouble. And students learning their ABCs from the JROTC.
Hi, I'd like to start getting home delivery of the Sunday New York Times.
Now you can enjoy Sunday even more by getting the New York Times delivered to your home every weekend. And when you call now, you'll get 50% off the regular home delivery price.
I enjoy waking up and having the Sunday New York Times waiting for me. I know it'll tell me things that I won't hear, read, or see anywhere else.
I get international and cultural news, and I get a jump on the week ahead.
Call now to order, and you'll get the book review, travel, arts and leisure, week in review, and the New York Times Magazine.
On Sunday mornings, we catch up on what we really love. She goes straight for arts and leisure. I check out the magazine.
So call now to enjoy the Sunday New York Times for 8 weeks with home delivery at 50% off.
Hi. I'd like to start getting the Sunday New York Times at home.
I think the only thing I enjoy more than doing the crossword puzzle is actually finishing it.
Call now, 1-800-720-8300, and get the Sunday New York Times delivered to your home every weekend.
For me, Sunday was made for the New York Times.
The jobs of tomorrow are here, thousands of them, waiting to be filled. But you have to know the fields they're in, and you have to have what it takes to master those fields. Because you can't get the jobs of tomorrow until you get the skills of today. Start by calling ITT Technical Institute. We'll send you an informative brochure on tomorrow's careers and what it takes to get them. Call 1-800-ITT-TECH.
A crucial confrontation. Mark Brunell leads the Jaguars against Cordell and the Steelers. Then the Jets collide with Denver. A doubleheader on CBS.
A system to prevent collisions on airport runways has been delayed because of human factors and software problems. Aviation Week magazine reports the system will not be deployed until 2002. A runway collision caused the worst accident ever, 538 people killed in the Canary Islands in 1977. The FAA is investigating how a 12-year-old Virginia boy managed to fly to St. Louis with no ticket. Christopher Peregory was sent to the principal's office for misbehaving. Instead, he left school, went to Ronald Reagan Airport, and walked onto a flight to Missouri. No one knew he was gone until he called home. A TWA spokesperson says he blended in with other passengers. Christopher's mom says her son is grounded. In Chicago, Christopher's punishment might have been harsher. The school system there has a new facility run by the Army's junior ROTC. As Cynthia Bowers reports, it's a school for any student who appreciates strong discipline.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Okay. When I get up, it's 4:30.
And it is still dark on Chicago's South Side when 14-year-old Jermaine Steele kisses his grandmother goodbye and heads to school. 2 buses and a train ride away.
I didn't want to go to schools in my neighborhood because I might do the wrong thing and hang with the wrong crowd, and I want to end up 6 feet under or in prison.
So instead, Steele signed up to be a cadet at the brand new Chicago Military Academy. The first class of 150 freshmen do regular coursework.
Sir, permission to recover, sir.
But the most important discipline taught here is, well, discipline.
From yeah to yes, sir, no, sir. From yeah to yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
This is not an elite private military academy, rather an inner-city public school, the first in the nation run by the Army's Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. Its primary intent is not making better soldiers, but better citizens.
These are just good, average, inner-city kids that basically want to have something happen positive in their lives. And we're going to do that here.
I've been saying for the last couple of years that I want to be an FBI agent.
It is too soon to predict how successful a public military academy will be, but these students seem to be seizing this opportunity and marching with it.
My grandma turned 92.
Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Chicago.
Next up on the CBS Evening News, a dramatic end to a hostage drama in Thailand.
Sometimes a job calls for more than just one screwdriver, but you're not exactly sure which ones you need. That's why Sears created the Craftsman all-in-one screwdriver. It has 6 full-size Craftsman quality screwdriver blades built into the handle, 3 slotted and 3 Phillips head blades in the sizes you use them most. Need a different blade? A quick change couldn't be easier. The compact size fits just about anywhere. Almost everyone has a kitchen drawer where they keep tools handy. But you'd have to keep 6 different screwdrivers in there to do the job of the Craftsman all-in-one. It's a great value at only $19.99, and like other Craftsman hand tools, the all-in-one screwdriver is guaranteed forever. Don't want to carry a whole set of screwdrivers? Just take the all-in-one. You've always got the right screwdriver at your fingertips. It's so convenient and versatile, you'll want to take it everywhere. The all-in-one screwdriver makes a great gift, too. Order yours today.
Call 1-800-803-5115 to order the Craftsman all-in-one screwdriver. Call now.
Thanks, Shirley. You know, Tony, I've been thinking about life insurance again. We pay more for this coffee than we would for extra coverage.
She's right. You know, you can get good life insurance for 39 cents a day.
Probably from someone I never heard of.
Mutual of Omaha. United of Omaha, one of the Mutual of Omaha companies, has a plan where your payments never go up and your benefits never go down.
Good company. But I bet you still have to take a physical.
No. And before you ask, you won't be turned down and your coverage can't be canceled.
How much? And don't talk to me in units.
No units. With this, you know what you're getting. Up to $20,000 worth of coverage.
What, do you work for him, Cheryl?
Actually, we bought the plan before Harry passed away. My husband had this great gift for always listening to me.
Smart guy, huh, Tony?
Call 1-800-428-0400 for your free information. That's 1-800-428-0400. Call now, 1-800-428-0400.
An exclusive interview with Vice President and candidate Al Gore on his campaign and the state of the nation on Face the Nation with Bob Schieffer Sunday.
This week's nuclear accident in Japan is leading health officials on the U.S. West Coast to check air quality for any sign of radioactive fallout. In Japan, life around the fuel processing plant is returning to normal. People who live near the plant were cleared to go home from an evacuation center. A standoff in Thailand ended peacefully today when 5 armed rebels from Myanmar, the former Burma, freed 89 hostages being held in Myanmar's embassy in Bangkok. In return, the 5 pro-democracy dissidents were flown by helicopter to the Thai border with Myanmar and released. South Korea's president called today for a joint investigation of allegations that U.S. troops gunned down hundreds of refugees in one village 49 years ago during the Korean War. Defense Secretary William Cohen has already ordered the U.S. Army to investigate these charges. Russian troops entered breakaway Chechnya tonight in search of Islamic rebels. Other troops and tanks are massed at the border, but Russia denies it is planning a full-scale invasion. Moscow blames Chechnya-based rebels for attacks in neighboring Dagestan and for bombings inside Russia. Meanwhile, Russia's top liberal politician and an opponent of Boris Yeltsin claims he warned President Clinton directly of rampant corruption. David Hawkins has more in this exclusive CBS News interview.
Allegations that Russian money laundering at U.S. banks may have included billions of dollars in foreign aid and that corrupt government officials hoodwinked the West may have come as a big surprise, but it shouldn't have. Grigory Yavlinsky, the leader of Russia's most Western-oriented political party, says any Russian school child could have told you all about it years ago. And in an interview with CBS News, Yavlinsky says he warned every American official he ever met that the Yeltsin administration is corrupt. Yavlinsky says that 3 years ago, he even told President Boris Yeltsin to his face that he should fire the crooks in his government.
He said, so they are my friends and I can't do with them anything.
Yavlinsky says he doesn't know if Yeltsin himself was directly involved in bribery or money laundering, but that he almost certainly benefited from it.
And he was maybe even manipulating, giving a chance to people to make different money laundering and other tricks in exchange of political support him. So that was, in this way, he was simply rottening the state.
And, Yavlinsky says, top U.S. officials he met with in Moscow, like Secretary of State Madeleine Albright and even President Clinton, also turned a blind eye to Russian government corruption.
Well, they all came and talked to you. You must have told them what was going on.
Yes, that's true.
And they didn't listen?
No, they were not listening.
Western politicians and bankers fell in love with the so-called reformers in Yeltsin's government, he says. But the reformers really wanted just two things: money and the power that comes with it.
And they were very successful. They took $70 billion from the West.
Grigory Yavlinsky no longer gets strange looks when he talks about Kremlin corruption. Now, everyone's paying attention. David Hawkins, CBS News, Moscow.
Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, everybody has a story. How a family that stays together stays together.
Walk right in, sit right down. Daddy, let your mind hold on.
Remember when folk songs were heard all across America?
Oh, no, don't let the rain come down.
At last, you could get all your favorite folk songs in one complete collection. The Time Life Treasury of Folk Music.
Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. Well, hang down your head.
You'll hear songs that bring back memories.
So here we are in the Tijuana.
Songs that touch your heart.
We'll sing in the sunshine. We'll laugh every
songs that will live forever.
Michael rowed the boat ashore. Hallelujah.
The Time Life Treasury of Folk Music. 30 classic songs that take you back to a very special time.
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time past.
You'll hear legendary artists like the Kingston Trio and Harry Belafonte.
Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and
so come and sing along.
I had a hammer in the morning.
You'll cherish these songs forever.
Breeze swaying in the summer breeze, showing off
the Time Life Treasury of Folk Music is not in stores, so please call now.
To order Treasury of Folk, call 1-800-325-4343. That's 1-800-325-4343. Or send $19.99 for 2 cassettes or $24.99 for 2 CDs plus $4.50 shipping and handling to Treasury of Folk, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia. Or call 1-800-325-4343.
You've heard about crooks stealing money and credit cards, but his whole identity was stolen.
You're almost like you've been raped.
His bank account wiped out, his credit shot. How could it happen? Ask the thief.
The proficiency with which I could do it was frightening, even to me.
Identity Theft, an Eye on America special series, Monday on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Sometimes you hear people lament that these days families are not as tightly knit as they used to be. But Steve Hartman has found just the opposite, out where everybody has a story.
Louisiana.
The dart hit Bastrop, Louisiana. So I came here, found a phone book, okay, here we go, and picked a name for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Wilkerson.
Unfortunately, Mrs. Wilkerson didn't believe a word of it.
Sort of like if Barbara Walters came to your house and interviewed you.
About your... Hello? Hello? Normally when that happens, I just pick another name. You there? But this time, I was persistent. Maybe we should give her another try. And that's how I won the confidence of Beulah Wilkerson. At 87, she has just one daily activity. It takes her 11 minutes, round trip. And the payoff is hardly newsworthy.
Well, didn't have much. Catalog and a bill.
Still, there is a story in Beulah.
That's my chair.
But it's not about one aging, empty life.
Do you know, I've got quite a family.
Far from it.
I do love you, Mama. And when we all get together, we have a ball.
For Beulah, mothering began in this old gumboard house.
It's been 30 years since I've been here at this house.
Her sons Melvin and Willis both grew up here.
One time she caught us fighting, and she decided the way to stop us from fighting was to make us fight. And so she stood there with a switch, and she made us fight for a little while. It wasn't nearby much fun to fight with her watching us.
By all accounts, she did parenting right.
Well, it got the job done.
And more importantly, still does. As families get older, they usually change a lot. Roles reverse. Kids take care of parents. But this is the darndest thing I've ever seen. Her 60 years have come and gone, and although Beulah doesn't switch them anymore, she is still clearly their mother. For example, the older son, Willis, still has his mom do his laundry.
I sure do.
And he's proud of it.
I thought he was lazy.
Come on in.
They come by every week, give her a bear hug that would suffocate most women her age, and then listen to her advice. I wondered why their mom's opinion is still so important.
Well, let me answer that this way. Why has it become so unimportant in the generation today? Mama's somebody you can call on anytime, day or night, no matter what age.
Okay.
And for Beulah, it's been great medicine.
You know, I enjoy y'all.
Sometimes older people think it's okay if they just fade away because nobody needs them anymore.
Do my best.
But thanks to her sons, Beulah Wilkerson will just have to come up with a better excuse. You're feeling like it's okay for you to go now?
Yeah.
Because nobody's relying on you now?
Right.
I don't get that sense from your sons, that nobody's relying on you now.
Well, maybe not. Got his hair cut.
Everybody needs to be needed.
Love my neck. Okay. You all are on your way to Lee County, Mississippi.
Until then.
How about that?
I'm Steve Hartman.
You think you can get there?
CBS News.
You do.
In Bastrop, Louisiana.
How about her? That's the CBS Evening News. Tomorrow on Face the Nation, Bob Schieffer's interview with Vice President Al Gore. I'm Thalia Oshuras, CBS News in New York. Good night, everyone.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Experience you can trust. CBS News.
Ladies and gentlemen, in less than 30 seconds,